Hi YouTube, I'm Katrina, I'm 29 years old and this is my first vlog. I thought I'd do a vlog on my road through IVF and potentially pregnancy. I know there's heaps up there on YouTube and I know there's more going up every day, but I assure you that mine is slightly different to the normal. And there's a couple of reasons why, and I'll go through that. So why am I going through IVF? Well, I'm single at the moment, and you might be asking, well, why are you going through IVF single? But again, I'll go through that. So I have a condition called Turner syndrome. It's a genetic condition that affects about 1 in every 2,500 girls. Can affect guys, but it's extremely rare. It's predominantly girls. So it affects the X chromosomes. So people with TS are either missing part of or all of one of the X chromosomes, and it can either be full-blown, so that occurs in every cell of the body, or mosaic in a percentage of cells in the body, and affects with certain cell types or cell lines depending on when the part of the X chromosome broke off, or the X chromosome was reabsorbed, or whatever happened. So how does it affect me? Well, I'm 4 foot 10.5 inches, so I'm quite short. That's pretty much standard across the board with TS girls, or people. I have lots of moles. That's a TS thing. My fingernails, I've got hyperplastic fingernails, so they stick up rather than growing straight out. I have a barrel chest. That's quite standard with TS girls. TS girls can also get a webbed neck. Mine's not webbed. It's a bit thicker than normal, but it's not webbed. There's also cubitus valgus, so girls with TS, or when they put their arms down by the side of their body, they can't straighten them, so the elbow stick, the bottom part of your arm kind of sticks out away from your body, and it's usually greater than 15 degrees that happens. It's called cubitus valgus. Now there's 3 big ones with TS, and they're kind of the most serious or bigger things. Horseshoe kidney is one of them. I don't have that. There's also the bicuspid aortic valve. I do have that. So basically, instead of looking like a peace sign, one of the valves in the heart, not a peace sign, a peace sign, or a Mercedes sign, it looks like just 2 halves of a circle. So the valve's a bit leaky and you get retrograde flow, and you have to be monitored by a cardiologist, by ECG and echocardiography, to keep an eye on that. The biggest worry with that is that it's linked to coarctation or dilation of the aortic root. So with stress, like if you get too much stress, like through pregnancy or anything like that, or just with age, so it usually happens when you're older, it can dilate and eventually potentially rupture, which isn't good. The other big one is infertility. So I think I could be wrong with this, but I think it's 75% of girls with TS are infertile, and the 25% that aren't are generally mosaic, which meaning that that part of their tissues, so their gonadal cell lines weren't affected, so they've retained their fertility. So the stem of the infertility in TS girls and myself is the fact that the ovaries are non-functioning, so they're streaky. They don't work. So I've got no eggs left at all. So basically, I'm pretty much postmenopausal. I've been on HRT since I was about 13, 14, something like that. So as I said, I'm single at the moment, and the reason why I'm going through IVF as a single basically is a combination of all my medical issues. So about 4.5 years ago, I went to see an IVF specialist here in Brisbane, Julie Lindstrom. She's fantastic. She's with City Fertility Centre here in Brisbane. I really recommend her. She, at that stage, I was 24 and it was an information gathering thing pretty much. Wasn't really ready to do anything at that stage. So about 2 years later, I went back to see her again and decided that yes, I wanted to do it. I was still single at the time, still single now, and decided that because it could take 3 to 5 years to get a donated embryo or donated eggs, that I should put my name on the list for the future. So 2.5 years after that, here I am, and I'm still single, and I've got an embryo, finally. I've had it for about 8 months. I am only using it now because I had changed jobs and it didn't fit right at that point, and I was lucky enough that they let me extend it out with my medical issues. I had to have cardiologist checkups and endocrinology checkups and gastroenterology checkups and quite a few medical issues to tick off the list to say that yes, it's safe to go ahead. And that's taken all that time, as you know, with trying to book specialist appointments and working and all that kind of stuff. So it took 8 months anyway. So today's the 30th of August, it's Friday 2013. So I've been on a medication called Proganova, which is an estrogen pill, so I take 3 of those a day, and I've been doing that for a week. On Tuesday, so the 3rd of September, I go back to see my specialist, and she will do an ultrasound to determine whether my endometrium has proliferated enough to do a transfer. I think they like to get 8 centimetres, but the cut-off is 7.5, I think. So anything above that is good. I have done a dummy run about 12 months ago before I got the embryo, and I was surprisingly got 10 centimetres of endometrium, so that was really great. So I'm hoping that happens again, and that we'll be able to go ahead straight away. If I don't get the proliferation of the endometrium to where it needs to be, I'll have to up the dose of the pills and be on them for a bit longer, but then they'll do the transfer once it's at the right stage. So how does all this fit in with me doing IVF on my own? Well, basically, as I said, with the heart condition, excess stress like from pregnancy can cause complications like rupture of the aortic root or the aorta. So basically my IVF specialist, when I saw her 12 months ago, said don't wait any longer. If you want to do this, you need to do it soon. There will come a time where no one will treat you if your heart starts to dilate. It hasn't at the moment, but it might start to dilate, and if it does, they won't touch me with a 10-foot barge pole. So basically she said, it's now or possibly maybe not, So I thought, well, I want kids, so I better give it a go, whether I'm with someone or not. Irrespective, I want kids, and this could be my only chance, so that's why. So during the pregnancy, if the embryo takes next week, I will be monitored quite closely with an endocrinologist for all my hormones and a cardiologist for my heart. I'll also see a gastro, I think, once or twice, just to make sure everything's okay in that respect. Make sure I'm getting enough vitamins, all that kind of thing, and that I'm healthy. And I'll be seeing the IVF specialist. She's also an obstetrician, so I'll be seeing her pretty much probably right the way through. So that's kind of my story. So stay tuned next week, and I'll let you know how the scan goes, and hopefully when my transfer date is. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I'm happy to answer questions. I'm pretty open about all this kind of stuff. So if you have any questions, go right ahead. I'll try to answer them as best I can. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Stay tuned.